I'm George Wrighster, and this dude is Ralph Amsden, who's doing the devil's work right now. And this is Wrighster or Wrong. So, my Lakers were eliminated from the playoffs yesterday, and it's crazy. Like, everybody is celebrating like it's their damn holiday. And you know why? Because they are poverty franchises. That's why. And the Suns are absolute losers. Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton focusing way too much on the Lakers instead of on their own damn business is why they won't win a championship. I never thought I would be the dad that allowed my kid to wear a robe to school and wear whatever they want, but apparently I'm Adam Sandler. I'm Big Daddy now. And Ralph is going to read some quotes from coaches from their worst recruiting trips, and we'll try to figure out who it is. And if you've never heard of JD Vance, you will today, buddy. And what happens when you masturbate 4 times on a Southwest flight?
What?
Uh, so we will start today with my Lakers being eliminated from the playoffs. They have 3 games left, and the rest of the NBA, particularly the Phoenix Suns, are acting like that this is a holiday. And I noticed that there's a lot of people dancing on the Lakers 2022 grave right now. Ha ha, all of this. And I'm just like, don't you have other stuff to worry about? Playoff teams? I mean, and now the Suns fans have now, like last season they were super annoying because they were like, yeah, we finally got here, yeah, ha ha, Lakers. And now you're like, again, again. Like, why must you do this again? Because the Suns fans have no hardware, nothing to cheer about. It is a poverty franchise, and like they are more focused on the Lakers and reveling in the Lakers' failure this season
Okay.
than anything else. And you know what that means? That means that you're not used to winning. And now Suns fans have eclipsed Clippers fans from a couple years ago when they were talking all that shit. Oh, Chip City, Clip City, it's our time. No, it ain't your time. You ain't winning. Suns ain't winning either. So guess what? You might make it to the Western Conference Finals. You might make it to the NBA Finals, but guess what? You'll just be the second place, third place, fourth place, which is a loser just like us this year. Boom.
Boom. Okay. I mean, I understand. What is it you always say? A hit dog hollers.
Yeah, I do say that.
Yeah, I was trying to get through your hollering there. Can I talk?
Go ahead.
Are we good? All right. So I just think it's important that at this point in his career, with everything that he has done, that people take LeBron James seriously. And I don't think there's enough people that give him the credit that he deserves for being one of the greatest athletes, regardless of sport, and definitely arguably the greatest athlete to ever pick up a basketball. And he asked us to keep the same energy. He asked us. He asked that of us. I'm trying to respect the king. I'm trying here.
Oh,
So when I say that a roster with 5 future Hall of Famers losing 50 games, including 8 straight to the Suns and 4 this season, all by double digits or more, including the knockout punch, I'm just trying to keep the same energy, just like he asked me to. I'm trying to be a loyal subject of King James Kingdom. And it feels good to win, man. We went 19-63 3 years ago. It feels really good to be on the other side of that. Most wins in franchise history. Um, you know, the Lakers thing is great, but we don't have to think about them anymore. They have 6 months to think about whatever they want. We still have stuff to accomplish this year, none of which includes the Lakers. They won't be part of it. In fact, I'm a little bit frustrated with the Lakers because if they would have done their job, then we could continue to worry about the Lakers and not probably have to play the franchise that has been our biggest curse over the last 20 years, the San Antonio Spurs in the first round. So I would have preferred to see the Lakers. They are of no consequence or contest to this year's Phoenix Suns or last year's Phoenix Suns, as we saw. I'm more worried about Greg Popovich, to be honest. And if you guys had done your job, then I'd be a little bit more comfortable with where we're sitting at 63-16. What's the Lakers record?
I'm frozen.
Oh, okay. Okay, but like
no,
shit talk aside,
we are 32 games behind the Suns. Just know that 32.
Shit talk aside, the Suns are 12 and a half games ahead of second place.
Yeah.
And so I get the people keep saying luck, whatever, and there actually has been a lot of luck involved.
Because they've been healthy.
No, they haven't.
Well, true. Because Chris Paul's been out, but I mean, like they.
But there hasn't been a lot of time without Chris Paul and Devin Booker.
Correct.
That was minimal.
Correct.
But like the Lakers have 5 players under contract next year, 3 of which take them over the cap by themselves, which is incredible. Because Russell Westbrook's going to hit that yes sir button.
He's not absolute. Dude, if he could opt into that $47 million today, he would. Listen, he would
for
be
sure.
a dummy. Listen, I don't care how many times they call me Westbrook, anything else. That's actually just more of a like an to you. Like,
yeah.
Oh, really? I'm gonna take
this
$47 million.
So LeBron, AD, and Westbrook will by themselves make almost $130 million next year, and the cap's 122. They only have Taylor Horton Tucker and probably Kendrick Nunn, who hasn't played a minute of basketball for them, under contract. That's 5 players that will put
Kendrick
them.
Nunn will be right where we need him to be, and
over the luxury tax with 5 guys.
And we're actually gonna lose probably the most important role player, which is Malik Monk, who's going to make way more than the $2 million or however much he was making this year. Because Malik Monk can play some basketball, bro. But here is what I'm talking about. Before we change the topic of this, here is how people are acting about the Lakers.
Hashtag 360.
They really put one shining moment behind the Lakers season, the highlights.
I got a tech. Oh, wow. Why'd I get a tech?
The ball is tipped. There you are.
Throwing the ball between the
for your
legs,
life.
first play.
You're a
I can't watch this shit, bro. Okay, well, I'm sitting here thinking that
Dwight, I want to know your feelings on Dwight Howard. That's what I want to know because he's in that promo. The private to me the most disappointing season in Lakers history is 2012.
Oh
so
my
this
God!
doesn't
with Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, that
and
experiment,
supposed to be Kobe too, right?
Yeah,
and Kobe ends up not healthy. Steve Nash ends up not healthy. Dwight Howard skips town and gets on Kobe's bad side. Dwight Howard comes back, wins a championship, comes back a 3rd time, and now you have probably the 2nd most disappointing season in Lakers history. What is the Dwight Howard legacy in LA? Because he got the ring, but he also is a member of the 2 most disappointing teams I've ever seen.
He's just no longer hated. He's just now like he's just a guy who played on the team for a minute. Like that's who he is. He's like Sasha Vujacic right now.
Is he a Laker? Because I gotta be honest. I look at this whole team. I look at this whole team and I don't see a single Laker.
LeBron's a Laker.
No, he's not.
LeBron,
no, he's not. At the end of his career. No, he isn't. At the end of his career, what will he be?
He will be a Laker.
Bullshit.
What are you talking about? He has embraced Laker culture. He has embraced LA.
Losing?
You shut your face. You shut your face. Dude,
LeBron James is not a Laker. Above all else, LeBron's a Laker?
So what is LeBron James if he's not a Laker?
LeBron went to 10 straight finals? He's missed the playoffs twice with the Lakers. He's not a Laker.
So what is he then?
He's probably he's probably the first Heat super team is what he'll be remembered for. Despite
What?
all the Cleveland shit. Yep.
No.
Despite getting Cleveland,
No.
he won 2 titles there. He went to 4 finals.
Listen,
He's certainly
and
more
he
of
will
a.
be in the finals next year too. So
LeBron is Wilt. LeBron is Wilt. Wilt's not a Laker. He was on the Lakers. He got a title with the Lakers, but he's not a Laker.
Wilt is a Laker. What are you talking about?
Not.
Does any other team claim Wilt like that? No.
Yeah, Philadelphia. Both Philadelphia franchises.
Man, stop. LeBron has become a Laker. He was not a Laker when he got here. He was a mercenary. Now he's a Laker. He's one of the all-time great Laker players.
What?
Yeah.
He's not even top 10.
Are you shitting me?
As a Laker legacy, he's not even top 10.
He's brought a championship. He has brought other good things with him, resurgence of the franchise. You got to be kidding me, bro. And he's just either the number 1 or number 2 greatest player of all time. Stop.
But that doesn't make him a Laker.
Number 6 will be, or number 23, one of the two, will be in the banners amongst the Laker greats. Do you not think so?
Yeah, but it still won't be like one of the top 10 Lakers. He's not ahead of Shaq. He's not ahead of Kobe.
No.
He's not ahead of Jerry West. He's not ahead of George Mikan. He's not ahead of Kareem.
He is ahead of George Mikan.
He's not ahead of... No, he's not. He's not ahead of Magic.
No.
He's not even in like the Byron Scott conversation.
Are you kidding? Man, stop.
He's Wilt.
Byron Scott?
He's Wilt.
Wilt
he's
is one of the all-time greatest Lakers.
No, he isn't. He's a rental who got you a championship, but ultimately he's a Cav or a Heat or just a kid from Akron. He's not. He isn't, dude. And his tenure with the Lakers.
When he goes
in
into
the
Hall of Fame,
when he goes into
Hall of Fame, what team would he go with?
The Heat or the Cavs above the Lakers.
It will not be the Cavs. It will not be the Cavs.
In 2 years,
because of Dan Gilbert.
Bandwagon hops onto the Phoenix Suns 3-peat train, then maybe he'll be a Phoenix Sun.
Phoenix Suns ain't winning no championship this year. 3-peat train. You should wash your mouth out with soap. You should wash your mouth out with soap.
They just beat one of the all-time great Lakers 8 times in a row. How could they not be championship bound?
What? Dude, beating
you said
the team.
LeBron is the all-time Laker.
Beating a 47-loss team. That doesn't make you dope. That doesn't make you dope. LeBron personally just had one of the best seasons of his entire career. It was everybody else around him that was terrible. and hurt. I mean, Kendrick Nunn hurt. Anthony Davis hurt the majority of the season. Carmelo in and out of the lineup. Dude, they started more lineup combinations than almost anybody ever. The Portland Trailblazers are up there with the amount of lineup combinations that the Lakers have had because of injuries. This is terrible.
Only one of the 5 Hall of Famers that are on the Lakers' current roster is going to be remembered as a Laker. Only one.
Who is that?
AD.
What?
And that's just because there's nothing else for him to have done yet.
Stop, dude. AD is not a Laker yet. He is not a Laker.
He's done the same amount of good as LeBron for LA.
No.
They have the bubble title.
The fan base. I'm telling you, from Laker fan base, we're cool with AD, but he's not one of us yet. Because to be a Laker, not only do you have to be championship worthy, because Jerry West.
Speaking of worthy, LeBron's not ahead of him either.
So no, he's not ahead of him. So if you're gonna sit up here and say that Anthony Davis is a Laker, right? Lakers fans, we're cool with him, but he's been hurt too much. There's been too much disappointment so far because of his injuries. And my just not calling him, not begrudging him at all, because as a player who got hurt a lot in the NFL, I get it. Sometimes it's like that. These are the breaks. But you can't fully endear yourself to a team when you're unavailable. You know what I mean? It's like Bobby Portis is one of the uh, Milwaukee Bucks fans' favorite players.
Right.
And he's a role player. So, like, you don't have to be one of the all-time greats of that franchise to be one of them. So Anthony Davis has to do a little bit more than LeBron to be a Laker. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
he's in Grant Hill, Orlando Magic territory right now. We'll find out next year. We'll find out. We'll find
No,
out. I'll be looking forward to
when
seeing what this front office can do.
championship, book it, bro. Book it.
Booker?
I can't wait till y'all lose in the playoffs. I am going to. Oh, I actually no. Actually, there's no
Oh,
there's no
is
point
it-
because guess how many videos people will make about the Suns when they lose in the playoffs? How many hours will video editors spend making low light videos of the Suns?
I heard Suns and playoffs. Everything else cut out.
Exactly. None. Poverty franchise. And I was rooting for the Suns because I want Chris Paul to win. But all the rest of them dudes, too much. Too much.
It's
Simmer it
not
down.
it's not gonna be good for you at the pearly gates in heading into the afterlife when they find out you didn't like Mikal Bridges. That's like a
I do like
litmus test for
Mikal Bridges. I do like him, and I haven't heard him, focusing on the Lakers too much. Or Chris Paul. Or Chris Paul. I haven't heard him focusing on them really
So
either.
you're just mad at Devin Booker. That's pretty much
And DeAndre Ayton.
okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And Jay Crowder just rubs me the wrong way. But like I wouldn't
That's
mind him being on my team. He's kind of like Patrick Beverly.
oof. I don't think I could root for Pat Bev no matter what.
Yeah,
But you do need someone super annoying to be good, and I learned that after losing to Bruce Bowen and the Spurs over and over and over again, and Robert Ory and the Rockets, and Robert Ory and the Spurs, and Robert Ory and the Lakers. I've learned a lot about losing. If you want any tips, let me know because you're in that boat right now,
Nope.
and you don't have to go it alone.
No, we will get out of this boat quicker than the Suns did. Won't be 19 years between
the Suns
playoffs.
and Lakers, the Suns and Lakers were terrible for like the same amount of time in the post Kobe, and then the Lakers got LeBron, and that was the difference
We were not terrible the same amount of time.
because of LeBron. Bitch, by the
Exactly.
way, you missed the playoffs the first year.
because he got hurt. So it is what it is. On to the next thing. I did not believe that I would ever be the type of dad that let my kid go to school in a robe. But I let my son, my 2.5-year-old, well, 2 3/4-year-old, go to school in a robe today. But he has shorts and a t-shirt on, like an actual outfit. And then he was tripping before he left out of the house. Was like, robe, I want to wear my robe. So I let him wear his robe. And it reminded me of Big Daddy from Adam Sandler. Because my daughter, who is 11 years old, I let her wear pretty much anything too. She dresses like Punky Brewster half the time. And it's funny because when my oldest son, Damon, when he was younger, I would not let him, he used to want light up shoes, superhero shoes. And I'm like, absolutely not. You're not wearing that. My son will wear Nikes and Jordans and all the stuff that I never had because he's my son and he's special. He's the king. He's Simba. I'm sorry, he's the prince. He's Simba. And all he wanted was some damn, like, Daddy, I want superhero shoes. No, son. But when my 10-year-old, when he wanted Skechers, when he was in love with Skechers, bought him Skechers. I never would have bought David, my 6-year-old, Skechers. Never. And I've evolved as a parent, and I actually like it. I'm like, why do I care? If this is what they want to wear, like, let them express themselves. Like my 10-year-old, he went through this crazy sock phase. And I used to push back on it and I actually feel really bad on it now because he used to love wearing like silly socks. And I used to push back, but now I'm like, what if that's what made the kid happy? Why am I worried about, oh my God, somebody's gonna be like, his kid looks crazy. Is his kid happy is the question.
The thought of your youngest son walking around daycare in a robe with like a little bubble pipe,
dude,
a
dude,
little
and it's actually
monogram.
like a short. It's like the robe stops before his knee. It's blue. It's got a red thing, and it's got like a some kind of character on the hood too. It's got a hood.
I the fashion battle as a parent. I mean, I remember I used to just part of it is just getting up early. I remember my stepmom used to like just point at the bedroom when I'd walk out of the bedroom wearing something that was stupid. She'd just point. But then at the same time, my parents were both poor and cheap, so I was wearing like factory to you like Voigt's Pro Wing shoes, and
Yeah,
I
some
and
XJ
the one thing
900s or
oh
9000s.
my gosh. Like an upgrade would have been the mailman's. Like that that would have been an upgrade at shoes for me. And I used to get teased for being a poor kid, right? And so I always said, my kids are they're not going to face that same adversity
That was
because it
me.
was avoidable. It was an avoidable adversity. So my kids aren't going to face it. And then now I watch. So my oldest son, he wears like vintage band T-shirts that will allow him to strike up conversations with adults because that's all he wants to do is have a conversation with an adult. He wants to be treated like an adult. So he's going to go to school in his Prince Purple Rain T-shirt, and someone in their 50s is going to be like Purple Rain, and then he's going to get to have a conversation with an adult and act like an adult. My second son has no ability to mask what he is currently interested in.
Yeah.
So when he walks out of the house, it'll be like Mortal Kombat shirt, Mortal Kombat shoes, Mortal Kombat pants, Mortal Kombat hat, Mortal Kombat wristbands. And people look at him and be like, "Oh, do you like Mortal Kombat?" like,
Yeah.
like he has no ability to cover up. My youngest son does not. I catch him with a backwards shirt almost daily. I catch him with backwards shoes, like shoes on the wrong feet, almost daily. He puts no thought into it whatsoever. He could not care less. And my daughter also wants to dress like Punky Bruce. My daughter wants to be so colorful. She wants to have so many accessories. She just wants to look ridiculous. And I do want to I want to step in and be like, hey, I don't know if this is going to be socially acceptable or not. But then she gets sad, which makes me sad. So you just kind of give up on those type of things. I can't let them go to school with like holes in their shoes and shirt and stuff like that. But for the
Yeah.
most part, too many kids to have the same battle with every single one of them at the exact same time that early in the morning.
Mm.
But
No,
you
you
set the
are
precedent,
100%
man.
right.
What are you going to tell him that he can't wear his robe tomorrow? Where
No.
do you draw the line with the wearing of the pajamas to school?
Oh, he also wore pajamas to school last week. He wore pajamas. Like I let him, well, because he has this these kind of heavier pajamas that he slept in, and so I put his clothes on. It was a little bit cool outside. I was gonna put a hoodie on him, and he was like, "No, no, I want to wear this shirt." Like, no, no, red shirt, red shirt, red shirt. So it doesn't look like a pajama shirt because it's heavier. So I put his clothes on, and then I let him wear the pajama shirt to school on Friday.
Man, he's gonna be wrapped in tinfoil before long. You gave an inch. He's gonna take 10 miles. And he's your youngest, so you don't even have the energy for this anymore.
You no you.
Man,
So is this okay? Like, am I doing black people wrong by letting my kid wear this, or am I doing the right thing?
I would say if the goal is equity and equality, then black people have every right to send their kids to school in robes and pajamas.
Love it, love
Welcome to the party.
it. All right, you have some coach quotes.
Yes, yes. It's hard for me. I'm just gonna pick a couple.
Okay.
But there was an article that was posted today in the Athletic by Dave Ubben. I hope I'm saying that right. And the title was "Coach's Nightmare Recruiting Visits Revealed: Jungle Cats, Cowboys, and the Shaquille O'Neal of Pit Bulls." And this whole thing is just him getting anonymous quotes from college coaches about some of the craziest recruiting stuff that they've been involved with and they've seen. So I'm going to read you a quote and you tell me who you think said it because you,
Okay.
you know a lot of coaches, you've interviewed a lot of coaches. All right. So this first quote is from a Power Five head coach.
Okay.
We were recruiting the kid from a Russian family from Hungary, and they made an authentic Hungarian meal, a traditional goose blood dish. You swallow it without chewing if you don't like it. Who you think was out there eating goose blood?
Oh God. Okay, so it's not any of the big boys because they wouldn't have just been like that's not necessarily their recruiting base. I would go. Is this basketball or football?
This is football.
Gonna go maybe Matt Campbell at Iowa State.
Matt Campbell eating goose blood.
Yeah.
All right, this is one you're gonna love. I was doing this is another Power 5 head coach.
Okay.
I was doing an in-home visit with a top recruit, and I was in the middle of the conversation, and I just started sweating. I had to stop and say, I have got to go use your restroom. So I paused and went in there, and when I say blew it up, I mean I blew it up.
Oh, is this a current head coach or former
It's a
head
current,
coach? All right, I was
current
about to
Power
say
5
because
head coach.
my guess was going to be Brady Hoke, but who would blow up somebody's bathroom? That feels.
Besides Jim Harbaugh.
Oh God, yeah, that would either be Jim Harbaugh because he'll sleep on your couch, or no. This is just went from Notre Dame down to LSU. Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly did that. Brian Kelly did that because he had too many burritos.
All right, it's Notre Dame. He the first kid he recruits that serves spicy food.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So here's another one. This is a group of 5 head coach. I was recruiting a kid in New Jersey, and we ended up getting a car service to get through New York City traffic. We go over to Newark for a visit, and we just had a black SUV. We park it by the house, and our driver is sitting in there, and everybody's phone in the house is blowing up. Everyone on the street thought we were FBI and doing a drug bust or a police sting. One of the guys we were visiting had to go outside and wave everybody off and assure the block was that everything was okay. I laugh now, but I literally thought guns would be drawn. We did get the kid.
Okay, so you were in a rough neighborhood. So you were so you were probably in a big city, in a rough neighborhood. I'm gonna go with either maybe Chicago, Miami, could be Memphis, LA. Like there's a few places where this could have happened. I am going to go with is this a head coach too, right?
It's a group of 5 head coach, so that's kind of a
group
tough
of 5
one.
head coach.
It could have been a former Power 5 head coach.
I'm gonna go with Brian Harsin or Ryan Silverfield at Memphis.
Okay. And then this is the last one. There's so many. We'll put the link in the description because a lot of these are really great. But this one is an absolute nightmare. So this one's called The Exploding Television. This is a former Power 5 head coach, so no longer employed. We were recruiting a kid we had no business landing. I had an assistant coach with me once who wore a hearing aid, but at some of the homes, the TV is always on. You're trying to talk about your school and the young man's life, but that's just what happens. They wouldn't turn the TV off, and he couldn't hear. So my assistant coach turned his hearing up, and it started having feedback with a frequency that was so high-pitched, it blew the TV out. It was an old school 52-inch box TV that was sitting on the floor. It was like beep, boom, and all you could see on the screen was a small circle. I knew what happened, but the dad couldn't figure it out. He was like, "What happened to our TV?" All you do at that point is keep talking. Author's note: they got the player.
Okay. And then they gave him a bag for a new TV. All right, so that means that they were in the home of a kid who was this is older because it's a box TV.
Yeah.
So he's a former Power 5 coach. Who are some notable older Power 5 coaches?
Oh man, probably.
I feel like it's like Larry Coker or like.
Or who's a former Notre Dame coach with the awesome speech impediment? Lou Holtz.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Nah. Mm-mm. No.
I could see it being Lou Holtz's hearing aid that blew the TV up. But
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. No, Urban.
No,
Maybe
no,
this is
no, but
Urban
it was
Meyer.
somebody like kid that they didn't expect to land. So it's, somebody, like Dennis Erickson.
Dennis Erickson. That would
Yes.
be fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll post a link to this. This is on the Athletic, and it's a fun story because it's anonymous, and obviously like blowing up somebody's bathroom and blowing up somebody's TV
Oh my
are
God.
hilarious stories. But there's some other really really good ones in here.
All right. Next thing up. This was an actual political ad.
Are you a racist? Do you hate Mexicans? The media calls us racist for wanting to build Trump's wall. They censor us, but it doesn't change the truth. Joe Biden's open border is killing Ohioans, with more illegal drugs and more Democrat voters pouring into this country. This issue is personal. I nearly lost my mother to the poison coming across our border. No child should grow up an orphan. I'm JD Vance, and I approve this message because whatever they call us, we will put America first.
He didn't say we're not racist. He was just like, are you a racist? Then guess what? Vote for me because I'll put America first. But there's so many problems with this ad. So I'm a person I hate the partisan politics. I hate when people don't do what's best for the people of the country. Like, it just chaps my ass, bro. Chaps my ass. And this dude, so his mother was a heroin addict, but it wasn't because of the borders. Like, people don't drugs sell themselves because people go look at them. But Ralph, where did the drugs actually come from? How did his mother end up a heroin addict?
The same way that most of the country started struggling with opiate addiction. The Sackler family convincing doctors that was the best way to handle pain management. The Sackler family, Americans.
Yep.
Americans, our doctors, our government, our pharmaceutical companies, and then all of a sudden, instead of trying to address the fact that we got hundreds of thousands of people hooked on prescription pain pills, we just pulled the rug out from under them, which means if they needed to continue down the path of addiction to get their fix, then they needed to probably go with heroin or now illegally cut fentanyl pills and things like
press
that.
pills,
So,
which are super, super dangerous. And
right.
but it's the Mexican fear that is like, yes, there are Mexican gangs. Yes, some of them are ruthless. They're pretty much operating in Mexico, the majority of the terror that ends up happening. But I grew up around Mexicans. I live in California. Anybody that I know, even Republicans I know that live in border states don't and have been actually around, they don't fear Mexicans the same way that people in middle America do. Like, people in middle America think that, oh my God, these immigrants, they're coming to take over the entire world, like that, all of this stuff. And then they talk about the borders. People in the middle of America talk about the borders. They're like, all these drugs are coming through the borders. We need a wall. A wall's not going to fix it. They drop drugs over the wall. They will drop drugs over your wall with a drone. They're digging tunnels underneath. Like, the cheaters are always ahead of the regulation and the policing. They will drive it on boats, drop it in the middle of the ocean, and then scuba dive that shit out, dude. They have submarines they use. So the
And
idea
most of it's driven across the border at checkpoints.
Yes.
Driven across the border in trucks and cars.
So the idea that a wall is going to fix the problem, and granted, I'm a person who believes that we need strong border security, but the premise is all wrong. That the wall is going to fix your drug problem. It's not. The wall is not going to fix that. The wall is not going to fix coyotes bringing people over the border. It's not going to fix it, because the wall, first thing is, it's geographically impossible to put a wall across the entire border unless you want to have slave labor and people die like building the Great Wall of China. It's impossible. So and they will go through the impossible spots. I just it's maddening to me when people use this for political purposes when there's no truth to it. But do we need
Yeah.
border security? Yes.
It's just so JD Vance wrote a book called Hillbilly Elegy, and it got turned into a movie, and it was critically acclaimed. And he's piggybacking off of the fame that earned him to try to get a spot in Senate. He is not just from a hillbilly family with a raised by a drug addicted mother. He went to Yale. He knows exactly what he's doing, and the strategy is now to say, hey, if you shy away from voting for conservative policy because they call you a racist, don't be ashamed anymore. Just let them call you a racist. So that's the strategy. And while I don't care for what he's doing, I understand it. What my primary issue with this is that one, it's bad policy. It makes no sense. If the money that you would have invested in a border wall that's not going to stop drones, tunnels, driving through checkpoints, submarines, sailing on ships, planes, if you're going to build a border wall that doesn't stop any of those things to try to save the lives of people in Ohio, when you could just put that money toward treatment, rehabilitation, and education. Like there are things that you could actually use the money that would go to a border wall for that would make more sense. The second thing is, even if you are not a racist and you just believe that we're falling short on the border, and I got family that works alongside the Border Patrol, I can tell you how they spend their day. It's not what everybody else says that it is. They have thousands of cameras set up down there that are all on motion sensor. You get these hardcore, freedom riding people that go down there and volunteer on the border. They get put in front of a computer all day to review thousands of slides of like motion sensor stuff that was caused by a jaguar or a roadrunner or a tumbleweed. And every so often, they'll find people who are crossing the border and they'll go pick them up. That is how current border enforcement works. That's what's actually happening. But they depend on the fact that people don't know how it's being enforced, that it's just open, that people are flooding through the borders, and then all of a sudden you have drugs. So that's their 1 + 1 = 2. This stuff does need to be addressed, and it is serious. But in order to appeal to people's sensibilities, you have to activate the actual racists that do want a border wall and do hate Mexico and Mexicans. You have to. So in order to get anything done, you have to dog whistle these people. And he said, screw it. I'm not even going to dog whistle. I'm just going to say, like, if you're a literal racist, jump on my side. We'll save American lives.
Yep.
And that is a bizarre precedent to set. And it just feels like we've inched one step closer to the type of permissible and open hostility toward other people groups that does nothing to make this country great.
Dude, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, all of this. Like, this is their doing. Like, they took what Trump was doing, and now they're like, we'll one up it. Oh, they won't do anything about it? We get to keep our jobs? Cool. Let's keep it on. Keep pressing, baby. And because there are some people that like it and co-sign it. Not
they
us.
play this weird game of what if, of like, okay, so I'm not a racist, but what if everyone thought you were racist, but that could save lives? So they get you in this like weird would you rather. And you're like, yeah, I wouldn't mind if people I don't know thought I was racist if it meant that people didn't overdose on heroin. Fine,
Yeah.
I'm a racist now. And that's just such a weird road to go down when what we should be talking about is actual practical solutions that will keep this stuff off the street, keep people from dipping further into opiate addiction, and educate people on what exactly is happening and how we got here. Like the villain in this case was unchecked capitalism. That was the villain. And I'm not somebody who's like anti-capitalist, but that was the actual perpetrator of this thing that led to this story being personal for him.
Yep, bro, 100%. The last thing up is there was a story. Ralph sent this to me. So how dare he have the audacity to act like, oh my God, I'm shocked he brought it up. So he sent me a story. said a man on a Southwest flight masturbated 4 times on the flight. And I bring it up, and he's like, wait, what do you mean? I'm shocked. You're the one who sent it to me.
Usually we do show prep.
I know, but I wanted to, because this is something that would shock you. So of course, I wouldn't tell you about it. Jeez Louise.
Okay. Okay.
So there was on a flight from Seattle to Phoenix, a criminal report was filed on Southwest Flight 3814 on April 2nd. Antonio Sherrard McGarity is accused of masturbating 4 times in the seat next to a female passenger. The woman took photos. When the man fell asleep, she told the flight crew what happened. They moved her to another seat. She turned over the photos to Phoenix police when they landed. The FBI interviewed him and says he didn't think the female passenger was uncomfortable with him masturbating and he thought it was kind of kinky.
Well, it's not. It's terrible. Don't do that. But where did you say the flight was headed?
To Phoenix. Of course it was.
Oh. And how many times?
4. So that's like a 3-hour flight. 2.5 hours.
So if 4 times, that's once for every double-digit win the Phoenix Suns had over the Lakers this year.
First of all, who can masturbate 4 times in 3 hours? That's first thing. That means that you have a problem. But this is the thing where people are like, "What do you mean? I thought she was cool with it."
Dude, that is wild. And again, I just want to advise the innocent and guilty alike. You don't have to talk to police. You don't have to. Like, it is within your rights to not talk. Because you're not winning this court case, buddy.
No, absolutely not. You guys, I'm George Wrighster. He's Ralph Amsden. This is Wrighster Wrong. Peace out. Catch you guys later.